Welcome back. It is nearing time, and I'm not sure how things might turn out. They had a meeting. Supposedly the race is still going to go on. Supposedly later on today we should have qualifying. Practice 3 more than likely is already done, and those results are in. But given we go into qualifying, which I will be live for qualifying today on the channel, the thumbnail, the broadcast, the link is already up, so you can set your reminder for that. So I will be live for qualifying. We're gonna have a good time, go over, see what happens, maybe take some polls, decide who's gonna get poll, all of that good stuff. But even if they get poll, I think the race could still be compromised, and we don't know if we might have a race, but we'll see. Right as it is right now, they're going forward, but you never know what could happen. So with that being said, we're going to talk about the problems that Mercedes is still having. And will these problems, unlike last week, put them somewhere they don't want to be, which is out of points? Given what happened last week, I think it's very important that I've always heard the expression, well, a couple of expressions. One is mow your own yard. 2 is sweep around your own front door. And what that basically it means is mind your own damn business. Red Bull, you should have mind your own damn business, man. Y'all was so busy turning your nose up at, Mercedes and the side pods and making your little smart comments. You had some issues there. You had some issues there that caused you to get some DNFs, which means you did not finish and you laid a big goose egg. But when you are reliable, Mercedes this far has proven that the car is reliable, at least for power unit. And they were prepared to take advantage of an opportunity should it present itself, and it did. That put Lewis on podium. Now, will the same events transpire this weekend? I highly doubt it. Red Bull is a solid, determined, and motivated team. I think not only the team itself, but Max knows that he has to repeat. If he does not repeat, he's going to go down as the human era champion. And the only thing that could make that better is to go down a second time without any of those discrepancies that took place in last season. And if that doesn't happen, he's the human era champion, and I know in his heart he will not be fulfilled with that. But with that being said, Lewis, his opportunity to get his 8th world title hangs in the balance. If we were going forward with the W12 without the implementation of the new car, I would be pretty secure and confident that he'd get his 8th, especially given the performance that they found later on in the season. I would be pretty confident that minus another scandal, he'd get his 8th. But that is not the case. The case is we have a new platform, several different changes, even in regulations, and Mercedes is not faring too well with their package. They came out with these new side pods, and granted, it took us all by storm. Like, whoa, I mean, it was so exaggerated. It was like no side pods, and evidently there are some side pods there, but way more slimmed down than the rest. And we didn't really know what was going on there. We thought it was nice leading edge, but thus far it has not yielded the results that I think we all would like to see as Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton fans, or even race fans seeing something innovative and come new to the grid. We'd like to see it perform well, instead of failing. Well, some people probably would like to see it fail. So a couple of different areas of interest is the wing. If you've seen some pictures, they had a bigger wing on there, at least at the start. I don't know if that's something that's going to change, but that would lead to more drag, and that's kind of telling me they're compensating for other areas, as like the ride height, which we'll get into. But with the wing being as wide as it is, they're collecting a bit more drag, which is going to slow them in the straights. And Jeddah, although a multiple amount of turns on the actual track layout, the track map, Jeddah is a pretty fast track, and they've made additions, they've made changes, revisions to the track. One, they widened up that turn where Max evidently smacked the wall, so I guess now we're changing tracks in order for Max to drive efficiently on them, which is, I'm joking, but I mean, it's kind of funny that, there's a correlation there. But Jeddah's a fast track, so with that wing being the case, I think that's a disadvantage to Mercedes. And like I said, majority of the track has little nuances of turns, but it's there are not all turns where they're going to be coming off of the gas completely. Like there's one back half or the front half of Jeddah. It's pretty much a long straight. What does Mercedes do in that situation? Like Ferrari's already proven their speed. Red Bull's already proven their straight line speed. Is right now steps ahead of Mercedes. All right, so that's one area that I'm concerned of. Another area I'm concerned in is this ride height. They have a higher ride height, higher rate, and I think that's to compensate or try to resolve some of this porpoising that they are still experiencing, that we can still see in footage. And that's not something that's helping them out as well. So you could imagine that in the straights, that's going to be more evident to happen, especially this longer straight. So they're definitely going to need to adjust for that somehow, some way. They're going to need to try to find a very quick or better balance than last race, and hopefully it yields some good results. Another thing that I think is important is the front wing. Hopefully they find an adjustment there as well to try to help divert and direct some of that air and utilize the tunneling system, the flooring system better. But the thing is, with the ride height increased, you're losing some of those effects. And I think that's, like I said, trying to get away from some of that is trying to decrease that porpoising. A lot of people that I have seen on social media have been addressing their power unit. Now, it seems that they think their power unit is in question. I do not think that Mercedes' power unit is the issue at all. If you haven't done any type of street racing, right, the street is the equalizer. So you can have a car with like 5,000 horsepower racing a car that might have half the horsepower. Well, if you're going to try to plant all 5,000 of that horsepower, as much of that horsepower as you can to the street's only going to handle so much, especially an unprepped street. It's not going to work. That car with half the horsepower is more than likely going to win that race. Why? Because it's going to hook up on the 60 foot. Beyond the 60 foot, it's going to gain traction. It's going to keep going, and momentum's there. Meanwhile, the 5,000 horsepower, let's say even 4,500 horsepower that's trying to be planted to the surface that obviously isn't going to take it, you're going to be on ice skates. You're going to spend your time doing a very long, big burnout. So what I'm trying to say here is I believe that Mercedes has their power unit dialed down because there's nothing beyond that point that's really going to benefit them, right? Like they can overpower the car, but what's going to happen? Right now they have the car raised up, so they don't have as much downforce. And even if they get downforce, they're going to have this whole porpoising situation occur even harsher than it already is. So they have some puzzle pieces that they don't quite have meshed up correctly yet, and I believe they will get this done. And if Mercedes is true to form, we've seen them in the past overcome challenges. Now, this is a totally different challenge. I understand that. Matter of fact, it might be a bigger challenge when it comes to the car. I understand that. For me, I would say, and I know this is late, like that's kind of late in the season, depending on where they end up in points too, because you have to remember Red Bull didn't collect any points this past race. So coming in third really helped Mercedes out. So that might give them a little cushion, given that Red Bull doesn't go on an extreme run. And even if they do, I feel like if Mercedes can come around by no later than the fourth race, no later than the fourth or fifth race, I feel like they could still be in a good place to not only take Constructors Championship, but Lewis might be in a place where he can get into the battle, which he has said he wants to do as soon as possible, and could come out with his 8th world title. That's something we could see. So let me know what you think Mercedes is going to do. What do you think they should do? A lot of people, some people are saying they need to dump the whole side pods. I don't think the side pods is their issue, but maybe it could be. Maybe it could be. There are a lot of things that maybe they can do that they are planning to do, but aren't quite there yet. So we'll see. So like I said, live today during qualifying, we will see what happened. Practice 1, Lewis was 9th on the grid, came in with a 132 on practice 2. He was 5th, and he came in with a 130, as well as the rest of the top grid did. and he was only 4/10 off. So that is promising to see. But we all know right now, until we see these new cars in a real racing environment, we're not seeing what's real. Like, we saw Max lay these hot laps down in Bahrain during testing, and then we saw him come back and lay other hot laps down along with Charles and them during Bahrain qualifying, and then we get in this race and this car just boom, the car's situation just go crazy. We could possibly be seeing that again. I've already said that Bahrain was an extent of testing, and I think Jeddah is going to be about the same. I think it's going to be a semi extent of testing still. And we got Kevin Magnussen, his car. The Haas has had problems with the I believe the gearbox. I don't know how that's working out as of yet. It's just crazy right now. It is interesting. We want to see if Aston Martin and McLaren make their appearance in the top 10. They're struggling right now as well. So we will see, and we will see soon. Qualifying will give us some more indications to this, and race day will give us even more indication of what we can look for going forward. So you all take it easy. See you for the live. Be safe. Just build it. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.